Oh, hey guys, what's up? It's V. We're gonna do an occulted physics lesson today. Yeah! I know you guys must be happy about that. I was about to start working on this next album, but we'll do this really quick. Anyhow, so for those of you that don't know me, hi, I'm Assyrian Draco Starseed. If you don't know what that means, you can honestly look at the Occulted playlist here on the channel, or just Lecture 9 that explains who I am. But today is going to be an explanation of physics that are hidden from society. That's what occulted means. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of these, as a matter of fact, just because I've been meaning to for a long time. And the initial occulted series of 9 informational lectures was really long, and they were just meant to get the general premise of all the topic areas that this information encompasses. So now that I'm going to be doing these very hopefully shorter videos, I can get a lot more in depth on specific topics. And the other great thing is, yes, I understand that you can, write mathematical equations to explain all these kinds of physics. Well, since most of the physics are consciousness integrated, that doesn't do a whole lot for explaining it to people. So all these videos are going to be shot just like Occulted. They're going to be explained to you at a 3rd grade reading level in English. So if you find them enlightening, please share the video with, whoever you want to. Anyhow, what are we going to be talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about the physics of consciousness downloads, or what is a informational download, or what the spiritual community calls downloads, or intuitive messages, or that sort of stuff. Okay, so the general premise, all of these physics are based off of a new model of our reality, which, if you'd like to know more about the specifics about that, I'd highly recommend watching Occulted Lecture 1, which is going over set theory and reality. But I'm gonna assume most of you get the general concept that our universe is made out of a consciousness hologram, a set of quantum fields. And there are different kinds of quantum fields. For example, an electromagnetic field. Anyhow, one of those fields is a conscious field, a fact that you're self-aware, awake. And when we talk about conscious downloads, this is quite literally like your spidey senses tingling. But what do I mean by that? Well, first off, if you've ever had the feeling of chills, like somebody running their hands down your back, and you you get that shudder shake, that is an example of a consciousness trigger. Okay, there are different kinds of sensations that people affiliate with conscious triggers. For example, the sudden feeling of getting cold, feeling cold all of a sudden. It's also that gut feeling, say you, for some reason you get an upset stomach, or you start feeling queasy if you start thinking about something. This is a conscious trigger. Your awake state, your awareness of a situation that might be love toxic, makes you feel queasy in your stomach. This is a consciousness trigger. Now, what's a download? Now, there's a lot of different kinds of triggers, and each person can have their own. For me personally, I feel tingly. If I need to become aware of something, my whole body feels tingly, like it's shaking. That one is for me, and that's just how I notice it. Now, you might have to take some time to become aware of yours. It takes some time to tune this, you have to practice it. It's a skill. Just as anything is a skill. So, when you become aware of this sensation, that is your sensation, the more you will begin to understand, information that you might not have known before, information about your life, I guess things that most people wouldn't be able to figure out, or you might be able to figure out, the truth of a situation and dealing with an individual, all the problems that have to do with your awareness in life. So yeah, that's kind of what a consciousness trigger is, and how at least I detect them. Now, what does that mean? What is a consciousness trigger? And it can be a lot of things. But what it means is it typically is a signal of what's called an intuitive download, a conscious download. Why do we call it a download? Well, if you think about computers, when you say download a music file onto your phone, the music file is information and your phone stores information. So that's why we call that you're downloading a song. We call these conscious downloads because your awake node of consciousness, which your brain interfaces with, your brain in this body interfaces with the conscious quantum field of our reality. We call it a download because once you feel this ping of energy, this conscious energy that reverberates through your body, you can become aware of the thoughts that triggered it. And therefore, it will download a lot of information instantaneously, faster than the speed of light, that will be things that you might not have thought about before, realized before. It'll change how you live your life. That's why we call it a download. Now, it might take time to unpack that download. It might take time to become aware of all the different thoughts and assets that come with that, intuitive ping. But the ping and some of the information is instantaneous, faster than the speed of light, because that's the speed at which the conscious field operates at, instantaneousness. ESP, why ESP can work. But we'll dive into that in a future video further down the line. So yeah, what are some ways for you guys to start training this ability for yourself? Oh, and I guess before we start telling you how to train the ability for yourself, we'll talk about the kind of different kinds of downloads. There's a few different kinds, okay? There's some that come from yourself, maybe in a future version of you that, yes, really, because, all times are parallel, technically. Time is an illusion of our manifested waking reality, so you might get an intuitive download from a future version of you that is literally living a healthier, better life. That's actually possible. We call that your higher self in the spiritual community because they've moved to a higher vibrational frequency of how they live their life, because if you think about it, like I said, all things are waves in a past video explaining energy devices. All things are waves, so your conscious thoughts can be described as a summation of thought waves, and if you move more towards love, peace, and harmony, your frequency will vibrate at a faster cycles per second. That's why we say a higher vibration. And if you move towards fear and hatred, you lower. We call it fear, hate, all these things. So, I think we all want to move up, so that's why I'm explaining this information to you. There's going to be a lot more videos like this, so stay tuned if you're into this sort of thing. But anyhow, so that's one kind. Now, if you are a person that practices CE5, which I highly recommend you do if you want to meet extraterrestrial intelligence, yes, really, intelligence that doesn't originate from this planet Earth, you can go into meditation and follow Dr. Stephen Greer's information on how to do all that with his movie CE5, or you can just simply look into it online because there's a lot of public information on how to do CE5 these days. And if you do it successfully, you can be in the position where I've ended up at, where a lot of the intuitive downloads I get are not only from higher versions of myself, but also from extraterrestrial intelligence that is helping me convey all of it to you. So thank you to them. Mainly the Arcturians for me, but yeah, thank you. So yeah, it can be from a higher version of you, it can be from extraterrestrial intelligence, and if you consider the fact about my video, What is God, earlier, I explained that what people call God is really the conscious part of the conscious field. You can even get intuitive downloads from that. Some people call it the Most High. I call the Most High conscious part of the conscious field, whatever, there's a lot of different, it's a pretty chill consciousness, it just wants you to live your life in, the best way that you can do it. That's about all there is to it. So, how to practice this? Well, I'm glad you asked. Right, like you guys are asking me. I'm just filming these for you, but I know what are going to be some common questions. So this is a book I've used to write songs in, and schematics for energy devices and stuff. And well, today I had a conscious download of YouTube video topics that I need to make. So what's one way? So the first one on here is conscious download physics, and well, welcome to this video. So what's one way for you guys to practice or to become more aware of information that you would never have been able to learn any other way, i.e. information that most people won't be able to tell you, information that you know, you could spend hours researching on Google and come up with zilch, because search engines are quite literally an ad apocalypse these days. Okay, so what you can do is begin by writing it down. It can either be a text note on your phone, type it into a computer, pen and paper, you know, any way. One way to practice your guys' conscious downloads is simply, as soon as you feel that tingly sensation, the chills, you know, whatever that, you know, gut queasy feeling, if you're feeling like you have an upset stomach, like just out of nowhere. One way to start practicing this ability of understanding your conscious downloads is to simply start voicing the information. Even speak it out loud, but write it down, one of the two. Speak it into a voice recorder. This allows you to become aware, which brings us into the second thing of how to practice this, is what you're really doing with that, you know, first tactic is you're forcing yourself to become aware of the download's information. The second way is to just observe it meditatively. This is another way to practice this ability, and it's a more difficult way to do it than the first way, because it will it's easy for, I'll explain why it's more difficult in a second, but what you're doing is the more you can focus your real-time egoic awareness onto to your thoughts, because your thoughts are running in a stream. Have you ever just sat down for a second and meditated for 5 minutes and just considered all the things that run through your mind? That's your thought stream, okay? Now, some of those thoughts will ping on you and will create you a, you know, reverberance through your body, a download. And if you want to access the information in that, you have to become aware of it. You have to choose to become aware of it. So by writing it down or saying it into a voice recorder, these are ways to force yourself to become aware of it, because you're putting attention on a physical task and physical reality that has to do with what thoughts are running through your mind. Okay? And then you have to use your own discretion to determine, you know, which thoughts, I should say, are worth keeping, you know, because not all thoughts people have are good. For example, a lot of people on this planet can be homophobic or, you know, racist. Not all thoughts are good, people. You have to use your discretion. So, you might be saying now, V, this is worthless information. You're just explaining what it means to do thought. Yes. This is very useful information. Why do you think people go to therapy? It's a different kind of tactic, because what you're doing in therapy is you're trying to analyze maybe past behavior, present behavior, or future behavior by communicating it to an individual that you think can communicate back to you clearly, okay? What I'm teaching you is not therapy. Although it can be used as a form of therapy, by the way, it can be. But what I'm teaching you is the general principle for how you can access the non-local information of the universe, because there is a universal truth of information, such as physics, which is going to be the premise for all the videos I'm going to be making for you guys. And if you want to know how I made them, or how I know all this shit, or even how I know all this stuff in Occulted that you should have seen up to now, it's because I got downloads from ETIs that have helped me, and also who I am outside of this material reality. At least on this planet. So yeah, we'll have more videos talking about that stuff in the future, but I think that's enough information for today. So if you want to take anything away from this video, is start writing your, if you have something that makes you feel like an upset stomach, or you all of a sudden get tingles and chills in your body, pause, notice that sensation, and then observe what thought was running through your brain when that sensation happened. As soon as you feel that chill feeling, as soon as you feel that upset stomach feeling, what were you thinking about? Begin writing it down, and then just allow yourself to continue writing all the thoughts that follow. That will be how you process, or how you will begin to process your download information. Now, the more skilled you become at it, you know, you might not need to write it down or, you know, say it out loud. You might be able to just, you know, observe and put your awareness on it and think about it that way. But quite frankly, nothing is going to beat speaking it, manifesting something physical into reality, because, you know, as above, so below. You know, the physical plane influences the non-physical planes of reality and vice versa. So yeah, I'm sure I'll have more videos talking about those principles too, but you know, we'll just start here for today. I hope that helps you all understand a little bit about the intersection between spirituality and physics, because there's a lot of it. a lot of it, and I have my work cut out for me. So share the video if you found it enlightening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye bye.